Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to SATAL 2020. I'm Moltar, and we are again with Diamond League this fine Thursday morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Today's matchup features 36. We've seen, I think we saw them on Saturday, taking on Golden Crown. Seems like we've been stuck in Diamond League for quite some time. I'm not complaining, you know, it's a good place to be. So more 6v6 action, and looking at what I see here on the ground, it is going to be Novo against Maycop. Lots of F-14s, some flankers, an Eagle. There's a multitude of different aircraft, but we're going to jump into that here in a minute. The Super Cut for today's match is not going to be done, I think, until after round one, so hopefully we'll be able to see that. If not, you'll be able to catch it on our YouTube channel. Links down in the panels below. But I'm excited about this one. Again, 36 against Golden Crown. Is 36 going to be able to come back and get a win after their latest loss to, I think it was, Phoenix Task Force? I don't know. We'll have to see. But you guys are along for the ride with us. Billy's back today, so the Mustache Man is back in the studio. And let's jump in and see how this is getting on, all right? All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like my webcam... There I am. There we go. So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. Game is currently paused. I think we are at Maycop, if I remember correctly, with Golden Crown. Or, sorry, we are at Novo with 36. So, I'm going to need to fix something, because... what would a SATAL stream be without Moltar fucking something up at the very beginning? I had to change a title here real quick, but I'm going to hit play, and we are going to see who all the competitors are in today's matchup. So there we go. Let's move forward. So we have, who is this in this F-16? Moving forward. This is Falcon in an F-16. Looks like he's taking 3 bags and 6 AMRAAMs. Then we have Drigo, same setup. Falcon with 3 bags and 6 AMRAAMs. Who is in the F-15? A little bit hard to read. It is Maho, 3 bags, 6 actives, 2 AIM-9s. First flanker, J-11, piloted by Evil. Looks like he is that a, looks like a split? Yeah, so we've got a split between ERs and 77s and ETs for Evil's J-11. And then in the very back, we have Witcher in a Mirage. He's going to be taking 2 and 2 for the 530 and the Magic. And then we have, who is over here? Is that Ghost? Looks like Ghost in the F-18. He's going to be taking 6 and 2 with 2 bags in his F-18. Now, if we flip over to the other side, over here, is it going to pick up? Please pick up. Please pick up. I know you want to. There you go. So we're going to take a look and see what Golden Crown's rocking. We got Challenger and the Tomcat. He's going to have 4 actives. I'm not sure what the weapon restriction is today. 4 active, 4 Phoenix and 4 AIM-9s. And then we've got Grippin over here in another Tomcat, same loadout for him. Not sure who these guys' Rios are. They are in Gold League, so they are required to take a Rio. Dave in the 3rd Tomcat, so Golden Crown taking 3 Tomcats. Same loadout for him, but he has 2 AIM-7s instead of 4 AIM-9s. So he's 4, 2, and 2. And then in the very back, we have Mosin, Rhino, and Gunslinger. So actually 5 Tomcats for Golden Crown. What is this? 5 Tomcats. So that's a total of 20 Phoenix that are available here. And these back two with Rhino and Mosin are 2 AIM-7s and 2 AIM-9s apiece. And then we have the Singleton Viper with Gunslinger, 6 active. So guys, now we are going to bring in the Mustache and Beard crew. Let me turn them up. We're going to bring them in as soon as I turn on the corners. Welcome, gents. How are you doing today? How has your week been? You guys told me that you guys had virtually no sleep in the past. Low Blow, you were doing a ton of Escape from Tarkov, and then Billy, you've been doing a lot with your website.
Right. I'm in like the final stretches of trying to get through the redevelopment of the Wild Weasel website and switching some products to new vendors and all that kind of stuff. So I've just been burning the midnight oil there, plus trying to get in my regularly daily dose of Blue Flag and trying to win the war there as per usual. But yeah, that's about it for me this week.
Loblo, what about you? What were you up to? Escape from Tarkov. You said you got your first player kill, and guys, pardon the camera, but it's freaking out here for just a minute as I fix something. So let's flip over there. The camera game doesn't like me being on 2 airfields at the same time. It has a tendency to freak out. You got your first player kill, Low Blow. How'd that go?
I did. Yeah, just now. Level 3 Scav becomes level 31 to 50 PMC, so he must have been happy that I took his M4A1, but, you know, is what it is.
Well, it's whatever works. It's whatever works.
Good game.
It's the easiest way to get high-level gear. You know, you go hit somebody in the face as a Bambi and take all their stuff, and you don't have to loot for anything. Now you become them, for lack of a better word.
Right. Let the grind begin.
Yeah. Well, grind and stealing people's stuff, I think, is the best way to look at that.
No. It's the truth. It's definitely.
But what are you guys expecting today? Low Blow, you had a quick look at what these teams are all about. These are personal tracks, guys, so bear with us here. We didn't get any track submissions because I'm pretty sure this was on the new backup server when it was new. And I don't think there's going to be any TAC views. We're going to try and get them to work, but probably not going to be any TAC views. So just heads up.
Yeah, well, Malta, we've got 36th sitting in 5th place in their division. Golden Crown in 6th place. And 36 with 0.58 KD and Golden Crown with a 0.28 KD. But, you know, looking at all those Tomcats on Golden Crown side of things today, we know how dangerous that Phoenix is if you employed correctly. Mm-hmm. I'm leaning towards Golden Crown on this one.
Billy, what about you?
Oh, man. What we've seen out of 36 Stormo lately, I think, has been an improvement. Based upon, you know, where they were maybe towards the beginning of the season. So I don't know. It's tough. We've seen both these teams fly already this year, and it's been mixed, I think, both on both occasions. Those large quantity of Tomcats scares me, and the simple fact that this is Diamond League, and you know, there's Rios in all of those Tomcats. I think that's a pretty big factor. You know, you're dealing with 2 heads instead of 1 there, and I think that can be a detriment as well as it can be an advantage. So we'll see how Golden Crown kind of takes advantage of that. But I don't know. I feel like we're going to know whether the airframes are really going to be the difference maker in this by the end of round 1.
Well, and something I need to point out here is Golden Crown has not left Maycop yet.
Weird flex, but all right.
Hoping something's not wrong with the track. I can't see that as being an issue with 6 pilots having problems. It's just kind of strange. Let me look over and see what's going on. No, their jets are on. Not entirely sure what's going on here. So if we flip over, we can see the Iriaf, or not Iriaf, the Golden Crown guys in their Iriaf paint jobs. Their jets are on. A little curious as to why they're not coming in. They are. Maybe they're waiting because they're in Tomcats. You know, maybe they're trying to flex those long-range Phoenix shots somehow, waiting for their opposition to get really high, trying to conserve the fuel and let everybody get close. Because if we do look at the bubble or the mission area, we do have, it's a very small mission area. So it's Novo against Maycop. Total distance between the airfields is 100 miles. So they don't have a great distance to ingress. And as soon as they got the Blues taking control of the bubble, the lead Tomcats are now departing. So I guess they were just waiting, trying to conserve fuel. We'll have to see how that plays out for them. But they don't have a big distance to go to the bubble. I think it's only going to be like 25 miles or so. Yeah, maybe even
But they can only engage once they're actually inside the bubble.
Well,
Theoretically, you can shoot outside the bubble. It's just once you leave the bubble, you can't re-enter it. I've never really had a team not enter the bubble.
You know, and maybe there is some strategy into making them kind of get there first. They're looking for that initial early shot, and it may not be there when they want it to be, and it may screw with the plans a little bit, or just enough to create an advantage for the Golden Crown guys coming off the ground here.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. They do have 5 Tomcats. They do have 20 Phoenix missiles. Now, we're not sure what the weapon restriction is. I don't know if it's A or B yet. I haven't been able to tell. We're going to tell as soon as a missile comes off the rails for these guys. But my guesstimate or estimate or hypothesis here is that Golden Crown was waiting maybe so that 36 burn more fuel. They don't have the long legs of internal stores like the Tomcat does. And they may have been waiting for 36 to get at a higher altitude so that they can catch them off guard with their Phoenix. You know, getting caught high altitude against the Phoenix is not a place that you want to be. So
No.
last Tuesday, I think we didn't really see a lot of benefit from the Phoenix, but are we going to see something here with the 5 Tomcats coming from Golden Crown? I don't know. Not entirely sure. You guys, Billy, we started with Lobo last time. Do you have any predictions of the Tomcats are going to be able to make their presence felt here? You think the Phoenix is going to be able to knock some heads?
Well, I think the important question here is how composed are these Tomcat drivers in Rio is going to be? Are we going to see a bunch of, a big massive wave of early long shots here? They certainly have enough Phoenixes today where they could probably get away with something like that. But I get the feeling we're going to see a little bit more of a reserved approach from the ERIAF guys. I think we're going to see these planes, although here we go. First shot coming off out of what looks like Challenger. That's a Mark 60 or Mark 54 Alpha. Mark 47 Alpha.
So that's going to be the B weapon restrictions, I think. Now, we have seen Mark 47s used. That is an Alpha variant, it's not a Charlie. So we've seen Mark 47s maybe accidentally loaded on in the A weapon restriction. The thing that's going to confirm this for us is when we actually start to see AMRAAMs. Loblo, you have any predictions for the Tomcats? I mean, that's a lot of Tomcats on one side.
I think they're going to dominate here. And if you look at the other side, you got that Mirage 2000 from Witcher, and the last time we saw Witcher fly, he was fairly passive. He's out ahead of the guys today. But the thing that worries me about the Mirage is just its weapon loadout. It's only got the 2 Super 530s, so unless they actually connect, he is, not bringing much to the fight. I don't know, man. Against, when you're talking about the Super 530 facing off against that many Phoenixes, I just don't think he's really going to be able to get into a position to employ properly.
Right.
Yeah, I'm curious about that myself. I feel like the Mirage is, if not used very specifically within SATAL, is in most cases a detriment, not an advantage maker. That's for sure. I will agree with Lobo here. It does not appear as if they're utilizing that in the right method that we've seen in the past. So I'm curious how long we see that guy last in there. He's already gone fairly defensive, I think, at this point, right?
Lots of Phoenixes being shot. The first Phoenix that was shot at Ghost, he out-energied it, so I'll give him credit for that. Now we've got 2 more Phoenix inbound. I can't even tell who's shooting these. They both look like they're on Ghost again. So Ghost is their favorite target at this point. Ghost is all over this. And guys, I gotta apologize if I miss anything. I did not have TAC views to be able to review to see if I could get the kills here. So if I miss anything, I blame that. Phoenix comes in really, really close. He's flying formation with it right now. And I don't know if that was a lack of energy or what happened there, but that thing got within feet. And that leads me to something, guys, that I actually need to bring up here. I talked to, who did I talk to? I talked to Ghost OTS yesterday, and he informed me that I am in fact wrong about proxy fuses. That proxy fuses do in fact exist inside DCS. It's just that lag a lot of times makes us believe in the multiplayer scene that they don't. But breaking off of that, Mosin is coming in here head on against multiple 120 shot from low to high, and here comes the 530, and I think Mosin is going to be our first casualty, and indeed he is, and the 530 just says, hey, I'm better late than never. I'm just making sure he's dead. So 120 does the beginnings of the damage, and 530 is there to finish him off, but Mosin is the first casualty of this round, and 36 just making sure he's dead. He actually took a couple more missiles. Now Witcher coming head-to-head with Rhino, and Witcher is the guy in the Mirage, and Lobo, I gotta say, the Mirage is getting things done.
He's certainly getting in there. It looks like, did he just get a kill on that?
I mean,
he got another one, yeah.
But it doesn't look like that super's going to connect, I don't think.
Oh, I think he already hit him with something else. So I think he actually went down, and multiple, like 4 pilots from GC went down, or 3 pilots from GC went down at the same time. So I got to flip back over. I don't even know what. It looked like everybody was really aggressive, and then everybody just died. So we saw a couple of the deaths. I'm not sure what the other one was. 36 is doing a decent job of regrouping. Now Gunslinger coming in against I think that was against Drigo. I don't see Drigo. There's Drigo. I think he's over there.
Punch bags.
Yeah, Drigo's back here behind us now. He is, give you guys a split screen so you can see what's going on. So Gunslinger's dragging a 120. The 120 we can just see hit the ground right there. And Gunslinger's now being pursued by everyone from 36. So Gunslinger has isolated himself, and he's being hounded by the 36. That Gunslinger, don't recommit, brother. A little bit of lag there, but he's just totally by himself. And I gotta say, gents, GC not showing here early very well.
No. Well, I think, as we often talk about is proper Tomcat use versus improper Tomcat use, and I think, I was assuming these guys were going to really come to.
And cut you off here real quick, Billy. This is going to be a 120 up, and he lags that one, but is he going to hit the ground? No, but Drigo is still in a really good firing position, and Drigo actually has Witcher in the Mirage behind him. Here comes another 120B, and that's going to be it for Gunslinger. There it is. He loses his wing, his horizontal stab, and that's going to be it. I think you were going into proper use of the Tomcat. I think the Tomcat's just gone in there too close.
Right, absolutely. And I think, the last couple weeks, I wasn't here for Tuesday's match, but the last 2 previous matches that I had been, we've seen night and day differences between how the Tomcats were utilized. And I'm not sure who exactly it was we saw. I believe it was the match before last. Oh, I'm sorry, it was 64th. 64th showed, exactly what you want to do with those Tomcats to make them almost unbeatable within SATAL. And I really wish that some of these teams that, clearly want to use the Tomcat on a regular basis kind of take a page from that playbook, because that was definitely a textbook use, I think, of the Tomcat at the end of the day. And we kind of saw here today what happens if you push those guys too close. You really leave it up to the pilot in the ACM modes at that point. And when you're going up against, competent 4th-gen fighters like the 16, your timelines are just not going to be there for that type of stuff.
Oh, come on, game. I'm trying to make sure you guys don't miss anything. And Maho just ate a Phoenix. We missed it there just briefly, but the F-15 just took a Phoenix, and this is a big part of why private tracks suck. But, unfortunately, sometimes that's all we can get, and I don't know what's going on there with the aircraft that landed in the field. I don't know who that is. But Grippin is the lone survivor here in his F-14. He's at high altitude, 21,000 feet.
And part of the problem here, I think, for Golden Crown is that going into the second round, they're stuck with this lineup now. And unless they, Fada just said the bubble was too small, didn't expect that, unless they're able to drastically change the way they approach this in the second round, I'd say we can expect much of the same. Purely because of what Billy said with the ACM modes and those distances closing, and 36 being able to just get in there and contest. Yeah, I'm not sure how Golden Crown are going to approach this in the second round to change things, but have you got any suggestions about how they can keep the distances, at arm's
I don't
length
know.
here?
I'm seeing Golden Crown Grippin did a decent job of dispatching 36 Falcon, but now he's going to find himself in a really poor position with Ghost coming behind him. Ghost is way, way above him. The question is does Ghost see him? I don't think he does. And now the new question is, does Drigo see him? So Grippin kind of got a free kill there without anybody seeing him, and Ghost launched a 120B. Doesn't look like it tracked, but Ghost, I think, notices now where Grippin is and is now diving. He's at least turning in the correct direction. But Drigo, I think, definitely sees him. Yeah, here comes the 120B now from Drigo onto Grippin, and that's going to be it for Grippin. He eats that sidewinding 120B. After that update, they're able to pull a lot more G, and I think that's going to be it for Golden Crown as Grippin's engines sputter their last spews of life, and he has no energy now, and he's going to hit the deck here real soon. So great showing, I got to say, by 36th, after that bit of a pounding that we saw them take from Phoenix Task Force, especially in the last couple rounds. I mean, I think 36 won either the first or the second round, and then they just got manhandled, especially by Black Arrow in the previous rounds. But, you'd think this is something totally different from what we're seeing from them here, and they are able to capitalize on the small bubble, not give Golden Crown the distances that they need to make those Phoenixes count, and really dominate the round.
So I don't know. Maybe a lot of that had to do with the fact that GC got off the ground as late as they did. If they'd gotten off earlier, they could have maybe scattered 36 with some early Phoenixes, and then gotten to that 30-mile, 20-mile range and been a bit more effective. But I don't know. Part of me thinks that getting off the ground as late as they didn't really do them any favors.
Yeah, and I think Diagnosis D brings up a good point in chat. Like, this match may have been too close for Tomcats. Like, I do think there is a reality to that. And some teams are going to be able to kind of overcome that and work a game plan around that. But I do think, in general, these shorter distance venues do not really play well to the Tomcats. They put them at a significant disadvantage. You're having to do things a lot quicker and faster than I think you would normally have to do on a longer in-flight, right? Those Rios have a lot more time to sort and get things kind of organized and where they want them, as opposed to this where you're talking on a much quicker timeline. Guys have to work and sort and kind of process contacts a whole lot quicker. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious how much that plays a factor into it, but yeah, I'd like to see a little bit more of those Tomcats baiting in those planes within to that proper distance at the end of the day.
It's possible, but I think talking about those shorter timelines, Golden Crown kind of did that to themselves. They took off really late. I think if they would have taken off at the same time as 36, they would have had a longer ingress time. They could have climbed to a higher altitude, given their missiles a bit better of a launch parameter on launch. They shot themselves in the foot. I mean, that's kind of an overused expression, but they did. I mean, they took off late. They allowed 36 to close on them. They didn't give their Tomcats the distance that they needed to make themselves effective. Yes, you don't want to be too far away, but also Golden Crown just seemingly got in too deep. Their Tomcats just flew headlong into these engagements and didn't utilize themselves in the places that they wanted to be used. I mean, they were trying to get into merges early against missiles from the Vipers and stuff that far exceed their own abilities in close.
Right, agreed. Yeah, and I think that alludes back to what you were saying is, just not giving yourself enough time to get set up and get things kind of, get things organized in the kitchen, if you will, before you start cooking, right? They just kind of threw themselves into it, and I think we saw the results there,
Yeah, I don't know, for the guys that are asking, was the late takeoff intentional? I'm not sure. I don't know what the mindset was behind it.
I think we've all been sitting on a runway before waiting on things. We all know how that can go, regardless of whether it's a big event or, it's a group of people going to fuck around at the end of the day, right? Like, sometimes things just happen, and that's the way it goes. But hopefully we see maybe we see what their actual game plan would have been in round 2 here from that perspective, whether things are any different in that regard, given a bit more time. So maybe we'll give them the benefit of the doubt there, and maybe someone got a phone call and kind of screwed things up or something along the lines of that, right? Like I said, we all know how that can go at the end of the day.
Sure.
But so, you know, coming back to what GC have to do now to get themselves back in the game here, you know, they have to get off the ground earlier, I think, as you say, and try to get to that 30-mile timeline in some sort of decent shape. You know, in a decent formation, sorted well, and then put the Phoenixes out there and scatter 36 and create a bit of chaos. And then I think from there they need to keep their distance. They can't afford to push in. You know, beyond 20 miles. They need to just get their shots off and then reset. And that's the big question I've got right now is if they're unable to do that, you know, I can't see them being able to get back into this match.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. I guess now is a good time to make that public service announcement about not using your lights too, and maybe low blow. You could talk from the BFM side of things about in VR how big how much more visible you are at the end of the day with those lights on, especially that beacon light. But both of those things kind of tend to give you away pretty hard. So
just like a Christmas tree, man. Yeah.
Something else I need to point out is 36 is not RTVing yet. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe it's Dave being on the ground that's screwing some stuff up. They're just kind of flying around the
shooting
AO.
Stuff.
Yeah. Oh, there was a Tomcat. What? He's still
Whoa,
alive?
Whoa, he just pops in too. What? He just popped in on screen. That was real weird.
That's interesting because I showed him as being on the ground. That was bizarre. Regardless, 36 won that round, but that was
a strange one right there.
I'm glad I had the right camera on. That was kind of bizarre because Dave was on the ground. I made sure of that, at least in the F10 view, and then all of a sudden he's in the air getting shot at by Drigos. So that was weird.
and I don't tell anyone watching in the chat, if you actually land, you blow up.
Yeah.
So he didn't actually land. That was just, I believe, a track anomaly there.
I don't know what happened there. That was weird.
That was the ghosts of Eagle Dynamics coming through on that one.
That was a little strange.
Gremlins getting in the mix there.
Yeah. But guys, we're gonna move on to round 2. I'm gonna send you back to some fan videos so we can get things set up for the next round. Round 2 between 36th and Golden Crown coming at you. 36th up 1-0. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here watching 36 depart from Maycop. They are up 1-0 against Golden Crown. I'm going to hit the play button, and we are going to be underway here. Will Golden Crown be able to come back against 36? We're going to have to see. But the I got to say, the onslaught that 36 put on them just now in round 1, I don't know. They're going to have a hard time. What do you guys think coming in here? I think they're in for it. These guys are in for it coming into this round 2.
I think if we don't see Golden Crown come in with a better strategy with those Tomcats, it's going to be over just as quickly as it was in that first round. I really thought I was thinking that was going to be a detriment to 36 in that first match, and boy was I wrong on that one. That guy got in there and mixed it up pretty well considering what he was up against. But like I said, I think as we've alluded to, he was helped out pretty greatly by the strategy the Tomcats took there. I don't know. Like I said, if the Tomcats get in there and utilize that thing how we like to see it utilized, and how some other teams have kind of done. I think they can be pretty darn deadly with that thing. If you find the sweet spot on the ranges for those Phoenixes, as like I said, as we saw 6 out of 64, it can be a quick day for the other team. So just curious what it's going to take for those guys to kind of get together on that.
Right. Now, something I do need to point out is Golden Crown did not wait to depart on this round. So they took off at the same time with 36. You guys think that's going to be a game changer here? They're going to be a bit higher altitude on the ingress and first shots. Think that's going to make a difference?
Altitude always, getting the altitude always definitely a big part of that. I think even more so, though, is the ability for the time for those Rios to kind of sort and process and kind of get things. Because I observed at least once or twice where it looked like the same Tomcat fired on the same contact, which with Rios in play, that's just not people not communicating properly, people not operating their systems the way they probably should be in that moment. So I'm going to guess that's from being a little rushed on that first run in. So we'll see how much of a factor it is. But man, I'll tell you what, 36 with, they got all the airframes out there. Look at that. Is that an 18, a 15, a flanker, and a 16 all in one frame there?
Yep.
I think you touched on it. You touched on it the first round there. I can't remember if it was Billy or Malta who said it, but if these 14s are properly employed, it should basically be a free round to GC.
Right.
So I am hoping that the fact that they got off the ground on time means that they're able to put on a better show here.
And I'm curious. Terrain, not really a big factor here. We're looking just south of Krasnodar, and I think as most would know, it's rather low-lying terrain there. There's a little bit, but nothing I think anyone's going to be able to utilize for massive line of sight benefit or anything like that. So it's really just this. It's pure sensor work here. It's getting those sensors in the right parameters, looking at the guys you need to look at, and doing work. I do think. Okay, here we go. So Phoenix is off the rails for GC. Pretty far, 40 miles. I mean, it's once again, we've seen shots be effective here, but if I'm GC, after what I saw out of those guys in that first round, why are we wasting missiles? I mean, the probability of you scoring on these shots is pretty low. These guys are expecting these shots to come in. So I don't know. I just struggle in this situation to see that these long bomb Phoenixes is the right move to go. I really think you just took a bunch of your misses off the rails,
right?
That you're going to need later on in the match. So,
lots of Phoenixes in the air. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one of these is. Why is it at 300 knots? That was like a jettisoned missile. That's interesting. I wonder why it's so slow. So Witcher is now getting a missile warning. Witcher, I think, has 3 Phoenix on his 1 aircraft.
See, like what now? What? I don't. And maybe you triple up. There's a higher probability one of them gets in there and gets him. But I really think the 36 Stormo guys are kind of, although they're not really flying as if there's a bunch of Phoenixes coming at them right now. So that kind of scares me.
I'm a little worried. This Phoenix is coming in. So now somebody is defending. All of these guys are defending, and it's actually going after Ghost. So let's see if we can grab Ghost. Here comes Ghost. Ghost is defending. Where's the missile? There it is. And it is 1 mile away. Is it tracking him?
Were those just reactionary 120 shots? Like, what happened there? They
I
all
don't know.
fired and evaded. Like, and that means none of they were not at ranges where you could unsupport a 120 shot. And that was basically what they just mad dogged a bunch of 120s out there. So I don't really understand that move out of 36.
Yeah. Lots of 120s launched in retaliation on the Golden Crown.
Yeah,
and there's still a bunch of Phoenixes in the air. There's one chasing Ghost. This one's at 1,300 knots. And this one actually may be able to reach out and grab him.
He needs to start serpentining back to his right.
I don't see it yet. I don't see Ghost. There it is. So Ghost got hit. So that Phoenix actually made it happen, and Ghost got taken down. Didn't see him. He entered the frame at the last second. So now we're down to a 6v5. So Golden Crown able to capitalize there early. I think it's a 6v5. Maybe it's a 5v5. I think we actually may have lost a Golden Crown competitor. Yeah, I think we did. So we're down to a 5v5 now. I don't know who it was from Golden Crown that actually went down, but now we have Mosin ingressing against a 2-ship, a Mirage from Witcher, and Falcon in a Viper. It's actually a 4v1, and Mosin is isolating himself and getting in here really deep. I'm really worried about his current position, and he's got a 120 coming right in on his nose. There it is. He's flying headlong into it.
No.
And it hit him, but he didn't die. He's got some damage. It hit him right in the face, but he didn't die. Now he's got a 530 from the Mirage. And guys, I gotta say the Mirage has been decently effective, but I think that 530 got outrun by the 120B fired late, and Mosin just tanks another missile, and he DCs. So that's why he's stationary. He disconnected.
And I think you brought up a good point there with that Mirage. Balls of steel out of that guy today. He has not shown any fear as far as dealing with these Tomcats in what we could all agree is a plane with a much shorter reach against a fighter with a much longer reach. And that is always a challenge. And I think you should be commended when you get in there and actually perform pretty well there.
So now we're down to 4 pilots remaining for Golden Crown, and there are just missiles everywhere, but nothing's really tracking. I can't tell. This looks like it's on Maho, and Maho's got a Phoenix coming from somewhere. He's getting a missile warning. Now, I don't know where it is. It's actually, there's a Phoenix coming in on Witcher, and Witcher gets hit. Sorry we missed that there at the tail end, but Witcher got hit. I thought it was coming on Maho, but he actually didn't have it on him. Falcon now is being pursued by Gripen, and there's just things happening all over the place, trying to give you guys a view of what's going on. So we're going to ride along with Gripen from his F4 view. See if I can get it here.
Now look at Drigo. Look at Drigo merging down in the south there. Did you see that?
So I'm trying to give you guys both views here. There we go. So we've got Gripen on the right and Drigo on the left. So Gripen is sandwiched. Drigo is chasing Rhino. He's going to take him down. Rhino gets pulverized by that missile. Now we got to switch over to Gripen, who is really in the mix of it. Gripen has somebody head on with him. It's going to be on the right from Maho, and that's going to take Gripen down. He loses both of his engines. And now on the left, we've got Evil. There's just stuff happening everywhere. I'm not going to be able to see Evil. It's actually a Maho, and Maho drove that missile into the ground. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to keep up with what's going on, but there's so much going on, and Gripen gets taken down. So Maho able to take down Gripen, and now we're down to a 3v2 with Evil, Maho, and Drigo remaining for 36th, and Challenger and Dave remaining for Golden Crown. So Golden Crown doing a bit better in this round than they did last round. R-77 being launched from the J-11 of Evil. That goes straight into the ground. Challenger does a decent job defending that, but Golden Crown, I think now, is as they're on the defensive, is facing an uphill battle because 36th is still hot.
To be honest, this is the match that we needed to see from GC in the first round, just from a psychological perspective, to put it to 36, that they were able to, properly contest this match. I think, they have shown in this second round that they are capable of putting up a good fight. But I think now the problem is that with this 3v2, and there we just see it turn into a 3v1, is that, they're just out of place a little bit. We had Dave out cold while, was it Maho was in hot in the Eagle?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, Dave now circling to the south, man. We're getting a lot of Dave's not here vibes out of this whole thing right now. Not sure what he's gonna be able to pull off here. What does he have for Phoenixes? One Phoenix.
He's got 3.
Nines.
No, he's got 3 left. He's got 3 Phoenix left, but I don't think his situational awareness is on point. He's got an ER coming from low to high. Don't dive into it, Dave. Dave, no. Dave, no. Don't do it. And that ER, I think, lost track, but there's this R-77 now behind him. And if these don't connect, the one thing they are going to do is force Dave on the defensive. So now he is no longer a threat. He can't put missiles on any of the adversaries because obviously he's not facing toward them. He would have to fire backwards, which is something that Tomcat cannot do. And now Dave is recommitting into the face of a 2-ship who is hot on him. Dave, this is a bad idea.
Did they lose a ship on 36?
Yeah, somebody up north, I think, ran out of fuel or hit the ground or DC'd. Something happened up there. But now multiple missiles coming in from the J-11 and the F-15, and that, I think, is going to be led by the 120. Yes, 120 is going to pound Dave in the behind, and that's all Dave's jet can take as he loses his right wing and plummets headlong into the forest, and that leaves Maho and Evil as the last 2 men standing. Evil, doing the dominance, showing doing all that with his lights on.
There was a little bit of a 120 R73 drag race there. I don't know if you saw that, but
I did.
That was pretty cool looking. See which one of those ended up making it there. That was close too. It was like a photo finish.
I feel bad for DC. It's almost like a non-event today for them.
Yeah, that was quick, fast, and dirty. They did get a significant number of kills though, as there's only 36 combatants left in each one of these rounds, so they didn't do too bad.
I was going to say either team really wasn't very organized in their showings today. This was kind of a jumbled up bit of a mess at times from both sides, I think, in both rounds there too. I mean, I think 36 certainly should be, not hanging their heads by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't think either team played as cleanly as we've seen them play in weeks past. So 36 probably feeling a little bit lucky to come out of this with a victory right now. So I think both teams, I would say they probably have had better matches here. So,
well, we have seen 36 do well in the past.
Right.
That first round against Phoenix Task Force was quite a convincing win. Right. I think they were just a bit unfortunate that Phoenix Task Force, they're one of those teams that are able to compose themselves and operate well under pressure. And when the chips are down against them, they just step up to the plate and swing hard. So, as Billy said, both teams in there today a little bit disorganized, I think. And 36 were lucky, I think, in the first round. The Golden Crown got off the ground late there. If Golden Crown had gotten off the ground on time, we did see them put up a good fight in the second round. I think that's really what Golden Crown needed to do in the first round. They needed to put that good fight up there, and maybe that would have just shifted things a little bit. But unfortunate for them.
No, I think that's a very good point. I think, you look at, getting off to that bad start there that Golden Crown did and what that may have led and what may have actually resulted in the fact that happened throughout the rest of the match. Maybe had they gotten off on a better foot, we would have seen a better performance throughout both of those rounds. I think that's a valid point.
Yeah, the Tomcats, I think they had it there. 36 did a decent job of defending early, evading the Tomcats. Golden Crown's downfall, like we saw low blow on Tuesday, was their habit of committing into fights one at a time. And they were going headlong at its 1v2s, 1v3s, 1v4s, and they just got dismantled when they were trying to do that. So I think that was their biggest downfall. And they were also trying to go head on in close-in engagements with Vipers, F-15s, and Hornets, and that's not a place that you want to be in. Also, were there any AWACS in this? Honestly, I don't know if there were. I don't think there was AWACS in that matchup. I didn't see any.
And I did not observe.
And that's something I think that's a valid point, that the F-14s are going to be at a disadvantage there because they don't have PPLI. They only had one Viper there. He's not going to be able to take advantage of his Link 16 connection.
Right.
36, I think, had multiple aircraft that were on that wavelength. They had one F-14. I think they had one J-11 Mirage, and then they would have had two Vipers and F-18, I think is what they had. So very good point there that 36 would have had the situational awareness advantage throughout that because of the PPLI aircraft that they had.
There's one other thing worth mentioning as well, and that's when you're going into this BFM/ACM realm, you need to be thinking about the state of your jet and how much weight you've got on board. We saw a few times there these Tomcats getting into within about 5-6 miles, still carrying 3 Phoenixes, and you are just way too heavy to defend against slammers at that range.
Right.
Yeah, man. Like, if they've got that much weight slung underneath them, I would not be getting anywhere close to that with those Tomcats. And staying outside 20.
We do need to go back, because I was talking about before the fighting started about the proxy fuses and stuff. Well, Ghost OTS actually informed me that proxy fuses do exist in DCS. A lot of times we discount them in multiplayer because of lag and desync, but the AIM 120 supposedly has a proxy fuse distance of 15 meters. And the Phoenix, I think, has something similar to that. The AIM 9, I want to say, is about 8 meters, somewhere in that ballpark. AIM 7's about 11. So
I'm curious of to a nuts and bolts thing on that regard, and maybe this is a question we can get an answer to. Like, how does that work? Is it going out and scan? Like, is it mimicking, like, what is it? It's a laser fuse, right? So there's different types of actual, when we get into realistic proximity fuses, right? There's laser fuses, which basically send out a laser to kind of scan, find where the nearest ranged object is, right? And they kind of work off that. There's, I believe, magnetic proximity fuses that use magnetics to do it, and I think there's an IR. There's different types of proximity fuse. So I'd be curious, like, what is ED mimicking there? Are they attempting to mimic the different types of proximity fuses, and how does that work?
I would doubt it. I think it's probably pretty simplistic. But something else that Ghost pointed out is in the bank turns. From what he believes, is that's actually what's causing the people to get hit by missiles and then them not going down is actually the proximity fuse detonating and the missile going off early. So a lot of the times when you see somebody get hit, it's because the missile detonates early, right? It doesn't detonate close enough to the aircraft to cause a significant amount of damage that is enough to bring a plane down. And a lot of times that is caused by the shooter and the defender's visuals, right? So the shooter's missile is the one that the server cares about. The defender's air simulation tries to simulate where that missile would be in space. That's what it tries to do. So sometimes they don't match up from what I understand about how DCS works. So sometimes you run into situations where you'll think you got hit and you actually didn't, or the missile detonated far enough away from you for X, Y, or Z reason, proxy fused, and that's why you didn't die. So Ghost OTS said that the reason in the bank turns a lot of times people don't die is because of a proxy fuse issue. Now, this is coming from him. It's not coming directly from ED, but he does do a lot of stuff with the missiles, from what I understand, in DCS world. So he is, I think, a decent source for a lot of this. But I just wanted to correct myself that proxy fuses do, in fact, exist. And that's something that I pride myself on. If I am wrong, I will tell you all that I was wrong and come back out and correct the information out there.
I think it's a good public service announcement, people. We need to put that word out there that stuff does exist. But I do think, with the debacle we have with the desync within DCS, it's like almost like a bittersweet piece of information. Like, it's great that it's there, but like, how often is it actually playing a factor and whatnot?
Yeah, I don't know. It's better than it used to be. It's better than it used to be.
It's improved. It's just, I don't know if it's where we want it to be effective in the way I think it's kind of has it in their head,
I think it's better than it actually seems to be. The biggest problem, I think, is DCS is an international simulator. The player base isn't large enough to facilitate localized player hubs. So you end up playing against people from all the way across the world. There's gonna be desync problems. In any game, there would be desync problems or lag problems. So I think we have to understand that. We have to give ED some credit for trying to make this all work. And you kind of got to cut him some slack in that arena.
And we're working at speeds that are very fast. Things are happening in fractions of a second, where I don't, obviously speed is a factor in a lot of different games, but here in simulation and all that stuff and how important a lot of that is at the end of the day, that's a tricky thing to get right. So I as much as we complain and bitch about it, it is not.
Well, it's complaining is our pastime here in DCS. That's what we do. That's what we do here.
So,
coming back to the teams today, I hope that GC can look at today and pull it apart and learn from it. And it'd be interesting to see in future matchups in this division whether they bring this same lineup to the fight, or whether they completely review that and say, okay, we need to think more about the distance of the map and what we're bringing. Because I don't necessarily agree that just because it's a short map neuters the Tomcat. That was when we saw 5 Tomcats in the lineup. I think it's fair to say that all 3 of us were like, okay, if that's employed properly, this is going to be pretty tough to beat. So I'd like to see what they're going to do with that in the future. We've got a saying in BFM, the guy who gets shot learns more. Well, they got shot today. Are they going to learn more from it?
Right. And I think at the end of the day, the short matches don't necessarily make it. It requires the crews to do more. It puts a lot more stress, I think, on the crews to get things right fast at a much faster pace. So I just think it requires a different mindset when you take the Tomcats into these short venues like that. So at the end of the day, I think as teams kind of realize that, you'll see people adapt over time. I think.
Yep. I think you guys said it really well. You guys have anything other closing stuff?
No, you know me, wildweaselapparel.com. Bunch of new designs coming out here over the next probably week to 2 weeks. New design coming. Outer marker apparel is up and running. I can drop a link in there for that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got going on. Hopefully, I think next Saturday I'm gonna attempt to debut a bunch of different stuff for Wild Weasel on stream with some graphics and some videos and stuff like that. So, and then I should have the coupon code for everybody here. So
right. Diagnosis. There will be promos and stuff. We just haven't launched that stuff yet. Haven't done it yet. But I'll take this time to thank all of our sponsors: Fox Mounts, Buddy Fox, Wild Weasel Apparel, Billy, who I think already mentioned his stuff, TacView. Thank you to all of you and all of the stuff that you guys have provided. If you guys are looking for any of their gear or anything that they provide, I think all of their names are synonymous, and most of you guys know everything that they provide. All of their links are in the panels down below. And then, of course, DCS World for providing, or Eagle Dynamics for providing the sim that we all love to play in. Heat Blur. Supposedly, Heat Blur, guys, they got a new sound changes coming to the Tomcat. I'm excited about that. I'm a sound whore, so I'm
that
ready
little
for that.
string now on the front, the yaw string, so you can see which way you're kind of slewing.
Yeah, I'm ready for that. Black Hog, if you guys are in the market for a button box for a decent price, there's nothing better than Black Hog and what they've got. It's got virtually everything that you could need, and then of course Thrustmaster. I need to get one of their Airbus sticks and throttles, because I actually have some stuff that I want to utilize it here in the combat arena, because I try and pull things from other simulator experiences into and use them for what I think may be beneficial. So huge shout out to all of our sponsors for making all of this possible. Guys, this is all that we've got this week. Our next match, or sorry, not this week, but today, our next match is going to be Grim Reapers taking on Phoenix Task Force. This is the gold team, not diamond. So Grim Reapers taking on Phoenix Task Force Gold this Saturday. And then Tuesday, 343rd Naval against Tactical Air Group. And then Thursday is going to be German Tactical Air Group against Eclipse Task Force. So we are back to Gold League in force for the next 3 matches. Then we're back to diamond. So until next time, that's going to be Saturday at 1500 Zulus. Fly safe in those virtual skies, and we will see you guys later. Have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.